Good morning, you beautiful bunch of Fockers, and welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It's Thursday, October 30th, and yes, we are here live. It's been a while. Took a little time off for travel and events, and now we're back. I really thought it would have made sense just to take one more day off, but I missed you all. So we are here. We're live today. I've got this show. I've got coaching later this afternoon. I've got a ton of stuff to talk about. I'm not sure John is here with me. I'll bring John in right now. Henry's supposed to be here. I'm waiting to hear. We haven't heard from Joel yet. So we'll see what happens there. John, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, great to have you here. Somebody showed up.
Yeah. Well, I think I had heard a message from Henry. I think he will be. He ran all night, but he said he'd be here. And Joel, I guess it'll probably just be how he's making out and feeling. It's kind of bouncing around there a bit. So
yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm here. You're here. That's what matters. The listeners are here. I am hoping, now this doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people because they just know that when they press the button on the app, they should be able to hear the show. They should be able to call in. You can do those things. Our current system of making the show happen is a train wreck. It is 5 different pieces of software all hacked together. It's overly complicated. There's too many steps for my small brain. That's why you've been here when I start the show and then I'm scrambling. Oops, I forgot to go live here. Oh, I forgot to turn on this mic. Oh, I got to go do the recording. I don't think through those kind of processes well, especially at the beginning of the show. My mind's always on the show itself, what I'm going to talk about, all the research, show notes. So we tend to make a lot of mistakes with our current system. It's just overly complicated. And that's 5 different pieces of software we are dependent on, and people change software all the time. So one will change and it will break the whole chain. And I got to go in and figure out how to get everything to play right together again. And it's been like this since we got kicked off Sirius. I asked my development team to build us a platform that we would control the radio signal from start to finish. They spent about 2 years on it, on and off. Now, they didn't have enough money and resources. If they could have had more time to work on it or more money, they probably would have eventually solved it. But the new vibe coding that I've been spending so much time on, I have an app almost done. Replaces all 5. We own the stream from start to finish. The capabilities of this app are just incredible. And we are going to start our first round of alpha testing this afternoon. So I'm hoping that I'll have enough time over the weekend and enough people to test with that this may be the last show we use this old antiquated, ugly system for.
yeah, that's there's lots of possibilities out there. There's lots of things that could be uncapped, now.
Yes. Yeah. And this team here, I'm planning a meeting because I'm getting pretty good at the whole software building thing. I'm going to talk a little bit about it today. I want this team to brainstorm an app for us. And that just has all kinds of possibilities. I see Henry's here, so I'm going to bring Henry in. Henry, good morning.
Hey. I guess it's an honor to be on this maybe show with the last time with the old system.
This might be the last time. I understand you were working all night.
Yeah, I've been doing that a lot lately. I've been finding it fairly peaceful. It's almost like meditation.
Ah, nice. I used to love driving at night. I drove at night every chance I got.
Traffic.
Yeah. There's something about, for me, driving in the dark, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning with a good audiobook on. It's like there's not a whole lot else to do. There's not a lot of traffic to deal with. I drive slow. It was just, I would just get so into the book. That used to be one of my favorite things.
I also listen to a lot of the old time radio shows.
Oh yeah, that would be good too.
Johnny Dollar and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Like Wobegon.
The part I enjoy, my tough part for me is always like somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning.
Yep. Yeah.
Then as soon as that sun starts coming up and it's kind of cool,
Get
you
your
start
second
seeing
wind.
house lights light up.
Yeah.
And the traffic starts coming out, and yep, and parking wise, it works out really nice. I'm
That's
parking
right.
when everybody else is leaving.
That's right. Yeah, I like it. So, the app's coming along really well. I am blown away by what you are able to, in two things. One, how powerful these tools are. But the thing is, and I had a great couple of conversations over the weekend. This is what I'm talking about now. I have been trying to get our development team on board for a year. And I know they're defensive about it. They're resisting it. They do have a legitimate claim. You can't really use these tools all that effectively on older software. And our software is what you would call legacy software now. We wrote all of our apps over 10 years ago, and we've just updated them over the years. So I get it. They can't really use it on what we have. But I've tried to convince them we don't have to. You can start over from scratch, and we can write all new code with new modern tools. They're kind of resisting and fighting the whole idea. I have talked to several other software development companies. They're all resisting the idea, and I'm trying to get it across to them. You need to learn new skills. If you want to stay doing what you're doing, your ability to write the code itself, to physically write the code, is dead. It is a completely useless skill. Nobody is going to write code soon. There are several companies that have already announced 80% of their code. I think Amazon announced this. Over 80% of all the code being written at Amazon now is being written by AI, with people guiding it. That the skill now is, how do you do this without writing code? But it's a whole new set of skills. It's almost like they don't have any advantage over me at all. In fact, I may even have an advantage because they're having a hard time getting their head around this. Now, I kept saying I have 300 or 400 hours into learning this, and I said it during the CMC this past week, and somebody in the audience said, that doesn't sound right. You should do the math again. And I went back and did the math. It was more like somewhere between 1,500 and 2,000 hours I've spent learning this. I don't know how I got so off on that. But it's a whole different set of skills. And for whatever reason, my brain seems to love this. Like my brain was made for this, or this was made for my brain. So I've gotten really good at this. And the tools keep getting better. My skills keep getting better. And what I've been able to do in the last month, I didn't even see coming just 2 months ago. And now I'm able to do it. And so we were at Henry, why weren't you at the NASTIC conference this year? I just assumed you would be.
Usually am. We just weren't doing any. Basically, haven't been doing any events this year.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I didn't ask because you'd always been there before, and I assumed you would be. But
yeah,
I didn't see
you. But changed times.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
look forward to doing it again.
So,
on other news, it's terrible what happened with Joel, isn't it?
Oh, I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say.
Just we can leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he was a little
there was what he had up on Facebook.
I didn't see that. So he sent me a text right when it happened and said it wasn't for discussion on the air. So I was waiting, and I didn't see what he put up on Facebook.
Then.
Okay. Yeah, I will agree with you.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It was almost unbelievable, honestly. Maybe at some point we'll talk about it. So I had an interesting, I will say this too. This particular NASTIC conference, the NASTIC conference has become one of my favorites by far. This one, for me, was just over the top good. I had so many good experiences. I really enjoyed the whole event, met some incredible people. Got to do the CMC, very small event. That was a lot of fun. Just almost everything about it from start to finish, including 6 days on the train.
I'm jealous of that. The one that's real similar to that show in its flavor that way, except for it has more of, it's like a mini maps, is the Midwest Truck Show in Peoria.
Really?
I don't know if you've ever been.
I have not been to that one.
They have a lot of breakout sessions and that.
Yeah.
Get up with me and I'll give you some introductions, because
I'd like to do that.
To me, the way it's billed, it's always billed as the biggest little show you'll ever go to.
Okay, I like that.
So they're in the convention center. There's trucks in there and everything else. Not to the size of Kentucky,
right?
By no means, but yet it's really nice feel to it, and it's a lot of your smaller fleets.
Yeah,
and some attend there that are up to, like, Nussbaum's usually there.
Okay.
Okay. And they have good breakout sessions at it. And the other part of it that's always the joke, if you go to that, because it's in February. In the first year I went to it, I got pictures of my truck trying to get there where I was buried in the snow up to the doors. so I mean, and everybody's been doing it for years.
Right.
It just becomes, what's Mother Nature going to throw at us this year?
Yeah, you never know what
you
to
have the
expect.
truck all cleaned up and salted up and have to wipe everything down by hand in the building.
Yeah.
And everybody laughs about it. And on the few years that I've gone to it, and I've probably gone to that one, better part of 13, 14 years.
Oh, wow.
It was funny. The one year, the weather, everything held up, and and it was even, temperature was moderate outside, and we didn't have to do anything. And we're like, well, what now?
Yeah, I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah, get up with me. I can put you in touch with the right people there, because on what they do with their breakout sessions and things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think could be a good fit.
So I had going back to the AI and the coding and everything that's coming and happening, and I've been trying to warn people, and even the programmers and the software engineers are kind of resisting it. And every time, one of the things on the train they do is, it's like a cruise for meals. They seat you with somebody. If there's two of you, the booths hold 4 people, so they seat you with somebody else. And that way they can use up all the space. And it's interesting, because I met some great people. We always do. One of them happened to be a software engineer and a senior developer. And I asked him, I said, do you know what the word vibe coding means? Have you heard the term yet? And he said, no. What's that? And I started explaining it to him. It's the ability to build software without the ability of writing any code. That's what vibe coding is, learning this whole new set of skills. And he said, I kind of see that, they're playing around with some AI writing code. And I said, no, nobody's playing around at all anymore. This is serious stuff. And AI writes really, really good code once you learn how to do it. Once you learn these new skills, and they're like, oh, but I heard the code's just garbage and it's sloppy. And I said, look, we could apply this to anything. if you can give me the best woodworking tools on the planet and I can't build a box, I just don't have those skills. It doesn't matter how good the tools are. My product at the end would be garbage because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not even sure if I could learn those skills, but it would never be really, really good. I said, this is no different. You can use these tools and you can build garbage software and never know it because you don't even understand what you're doing. But on the other hand, you can write the best enterprise level world-class software if you know how. And that there's this misconception that it's all going to be garbage if AI wrote it. Well, if that were the case, AI would not be doing 80% of their code writing with AI, which is what they're doing. Anthropic, I think, said they're up to 85%. They can write the best code on the planet if you guide them. Just like if you give the best craftsman the best tools, you're going to get the best product. The thing is, the skill is brand new for everybody. Nobody knows or knew how to do this. And I got on it early, and like I said, my brain just works. So there was a new company at NASTIC this year called DocTime, and they are trying to use technology to solve the detention time issue. And from my vantage point, a bunch of young kids. So I got talking to one of them, really, really sharp guy. I mean, we clicked right away. We start talking, and I was just asking about his background, and he said, I went to college to be a software engineer and learn how to code. And he said, as soon as I saw what coding was, I quit, changed my major. He said, I still did a lot of computer science work, but nothing around coding. He said, I just can't do it. He said, there's no way I could sit and do that. I said, I went through that 30 years ago. I wanted to go back to school and learn how to code because I knew I could write good software. I understood the process. I had good ideas, but I did the same thing. I looked at coding and what it was and said, there's no way. My brain can't do that. There's just no way I'm ever going to do that, except now I can. So we got talking about, he said, oh, are you talking about vibe coding? And I said, yeah, you're the first person I've talked to that actually knows what the term is. He said, yeah, I've been playing around with it and it's so cool. And he was all excited. And then he said, so you got to, what tools are you using? And I said, well, I'm primarily using Cursor. And he said, you're not going to believe this. First off, when he said he went to college, he didn't tell me which college. It was MIT. And he was in a fraternity at MIT, which is pretty darn impressive. He said his fraternity brother was the second person in Cursor. So there was the founder who started it, and then the first guy he brought on to start building it was this guy's fraternity brother. And he's like, I'm going to text him right now and tell him you're a power user. I said, do this. I said, tell him I'm an ex-truck driver with no computer science or coding experience at all, and I'm a power user. So I think we're going to set something up. Cursor is blowing up right now. They are so big and they're advancing fast. But he even said he went through, I showed him some of the software I was building and how I was using Cursor. And he said, you're well ahead of me right now. He said, I'm nowhere near building the kind of stuff you're building. So I feel like I am out at the, I don't know if it's the leading edge or the bleeding edge of this whole thing, but it's kind of fun and exciting.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hey, Henry, Jerry said, good morning. He said he's been a member of Midwest Truckers, and he's talked to you at that show several times. He likes it too.
All right.
Yeah.
It's great show.
Yeah, sounds like it.
I got a little bit of exciting news.
Awesome.
Was going to be getting in another truck, but that all changed.
Oh.
And I'm going to have to wait about another 6 months because I'm going to have another 6x2 liftable and try and refine
Awesome.
that a bit more. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow. That'll be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a better comparison.
Yeah. That's exciting.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
We will look
that's
forward
Thrilled
to
with that
that.
to be getting in the 5th generation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
That's good news.
We've got some calls.
And,
Anything we want to spend some time on, or do we want to bring the callers in?
Well, you bring callers in. I do have some neat stuff here.
Sure.
A whole
Let's
pile of
talk
stuff
about
that
it.
I'm working for a couple of weeks. Okay. I've been, you guys know, I've been playing out, getting out here and doing a little running, playing around with that little 6x2 day cab, getting experience with it and doing very well, doing everything it's not supposed to be doing, and hearing all the things that, 425 can't pull that, and it won't last long, and I've heard about all. It's performing very well. I got to, while you were gone there, Kevin, I'm not sure if I mentioned Henry, the other day I got to run and work with a conventional truck, and he was supposed to have been up to 550 with a 3.9 traditional, and we went running, and there was no advantage. He was totally surprised he couldn't catch me. Now, at low speeds he can. But once we got, rolling at our 50 to 60 mile an hour, he couldn't. That's rolling resistance, right? And
yeah, that's just yeah. And
yeah, exactly. And
even if you throw another 100 horse at it, you don't feel it that much.
no, but what does everybody do? Everybody goes and throws more horsepower at it. But here's an interesting thing. So I did a lot of work, and I did a lot of time looking at his truck. And we went through all of his specs, and we compared, it was a flat top, traditional truck in 07, era, dual 13-foot big stacks. Now he had recap, very coarse drives, 24.5s. He had Eclipse, Bandag, trailer treads of various all the way through, your 390, 18 speed. His walking through, we went through his trailer. It needed an alignment. He had no tire inflation. The weather's been cool here. And I said, I think your tires are a little soft. So we went all through that. And then we compared, I'm running, 111-foot small stack, 445 Michelin X1s, trailers, Michelin X1s, got balancers on all the axles, a 250 direct drive, 6x2, 4 1/4. We're running, low rolling resistance, oils in the hubs and the wheel ends and the rear ends and the transmission. Added some friction reducer to it, and also have tire inflation, so my tires are always right. But here's the neat thing, I'm trying to keep this quick and fast, is I started measuring the two sides of the required horsepower, Henry, to go 60 mile an hour pulling our 8 axles. We ran the route. I used 2 sources of AI. I put the route in, and even kind of, to work with it and everything. This is where it gets really cool. So it started showing me the required horsepower to run down the road when we got all done here. And this is the part that amazed me, because when you take your required horsepower to run and then subtract it, then you get your available horsepower, your reserve horsepower. And here's the neat thing. What was required for me to run down the road is 204 horse versus his 324. So once we took the engine horsepower away, here's the neat thing. When we got the cruise set, our available horsepower, I had 221 available engine horsepower left at speed, and he had 226. So no wonder we were getting equal performance. Now once you get slowed down, big horsepower starts to show up. But at that speed in the rolly ground where I'm in direct, I got, the efficiency at that time. That all came out. But here, one more thing to add. Here's the neat thing. I also played with it. What in estimates of fuel mileage with all the information I put in, and this took a lot of evenings, by the way. It even took longer than that ball game the other night, which I was doing it while the ball game was on. You guys know how long that was. And anyways, here's the estimate. The one truck it estimated at 4.5 Imperial, which ironically he filled up pen to paper 452.
Wow.
Now that's almost lucky.
Yeah, that's that.
Okay.
I don't think you could
lucky.
replicate that quite that accurately.
No, but just wait. The Volvo was 7.3, and I was 7.4 pen to paper.
Wow, that's accurate. That's wild.
Wow.
That's accurate. That's almost lucky accurate.
Yeah, I know.
So I thought that. So I've started explaining it as available horsepower required, and so instead of throwing a whole bunch of getting the motor cranked up, and everything else, delete cranking, I was showing guys here that you can have better performance by cutting your rolling resistance.
Yeah. Yep. So one of the things
go ahead.
I'm going to want to get our group together here. All of us that are, when we have the full show. So Yunsu and Joel included, and if I could get John Walco back just for this, I'd love to do that too. I want us to brainstorm on what software could we build to take advantage of everything we all know. And the first one that comes to mind is a really in-depth truck specking app that allows you to spec any of the brands optimally for any operation. And it would be really accurate. And it can absolutely be done. I can do it. I can envision a lot of it already. And the way I want everybody to approach this is, I don't care how wild your thought is. If you can think of it, let's put it on the list. Like and then it can also go on to, it will become, parts of this will be integrated into our coming versions of fuel gauges and profit gauges, which will be one, and they will be coaching apps. They're not just going to tell you what your fuel economy is. They're going to analyze your entire truck and operation and tell you how to make it better and be really, really good at it. But I think there's so much we can do, and I've kind of been saving this app for last. I've built 4 full-blown apps. 2 of them are incredibly, I don't want to say complicated because they're actually pretty simple to use, but they're very complex in what's going on in the background. And I've been saving this one because I wanted to learn as much as I could, because I think this one has a lot of potential if we build this right.
Well, I was just impressed because 2 things. We saw what happened on the road. Now, don't get me wrong. At 30 mile an hour, he's going to pull out. We get on a great big grade. He's going to pull out and he's going around. Right, Henry? It's just that. That's just the way it's going to be.
But the distance he gets on you, he'll never catch back up to you when he stops for fuel.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, but but what I like doing is proving, statistically why and what's happening, and this showed it very well. But to see that mileage was the fuel mileage estimates just blew me.
Yeah.
Bang on, which I feel is, there's accurate and there's lucky accurate, and I'm thinking but to have it happen on both is
that's pretty incredible. That really is. But I am also shocked at the power of what this stuff is now able to do, and it just keeps getting more powerful every day. So I would say within the next week or 2, I will probably start on that project. So I'd like to have everybody think about it. Here's the way we approach this within our company. We always start a project like this in what we call the Disney room. In the Disney room, we all have
Yeah.
to put on our Mickey ears, and you're not allowed to criticize any idea. You're only allowed to say something. Now, of course, at some point, we're going to criticize every idea and make sure it works and we prove it. But in the beginning, no criticizing. Hi, I'm Kevin Rutherford. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe or leave a comment below. It really helps us get the show out to more people. If you'd like to get the show, the full show, ad-free, you can sign up with the link below.